Welcome to ATCM, the Emergency Medicine channel. Today we are going to have a discussion on how to examine the per abdomen. Dr. Sujit will be giving the details of per abdomen examination. Can we start now?
Yes.
Vaiju, we examine abdomen. Doctor examine. Okay.
Okay, got it. So before the systemic examination of GI, we will have to do a general examination in which we will also have to look out for any peripheral stigmata of chronic liver disease. Following which, we will have to move on to examine the oral cavity of the patient, which is the foremost thing in GI examination. Then moving on to inspection of the abdomen. The first thing to be inspected is the shape of the abdomen. Normal abdomen is scaphoid in shape.
Scaphoid leads like this.
Scaphoid is boat shape.
Okay, boat shape.
Following this, the next thing is to be examined is the umbilicus. In normal individuals, the umbilicus is central and inverted. If it's everted, there is some free fluid inside the abdomen. Third, to look out for any dilated veins. For dilated veins, ideally the patient should be in standing position.
Okay.
In this patient, we can't examine.
Then only we can see the veins properly.
Filling it, yes.
This position is not good for
ideal for dilated veins.
Okay.
Then we have to look for any sinuses or scars. We have to also observe for any visible peristalsis or any visible pulsations in the abdomen. Then most importantly, also have to observe for any for all the hernial orifices to see if there is any protrusion of abdominal contents. So ideally the patient also has to be exposed bottom till the mid-thigh level.
Okay.
Moving on to palpation. In palpation, as you know, we all know, the abdomen has been divided into 9 quadrants, and each quadrant we have to observe for any local rise of temperature and tenderness. Tenderness is observed by observing the facial expression of the patient.
Okay. Tenderness is the one which can be elicited on abdominal examinations. Okay.
Then we have to palpate.
So we have to look at the patient's face when you are examining the
tenderness. Following this, we have to palpate for the different organs in the abdomen. The first organ we'll palpate is the liver.
Okay.
So for all palpatory findings, the patient's legs ideally should be in flexed position, but can also be performed in.
Some books are given straight legs. Some books are given flex limbs. Flex limbs give an advantage of relaxation.
Relaxation of the abdominal muscles.
Okay. Palpation, you have 2 palpation, on superficial palpation, 2 is deep palpation. Superficial palpation, we can just press and see any tenderness is there. Deep is actually required for the organ. We can start.
So, ചേട്ടാ ഒന്ന് കാല് മടക്കിയേക്കാം.
രണ്ട് മുട്ട്. കുറച്ച് താത്തിക്കോ.
So the next legs are adequately flexed so that the abdominal muscles will be less tense now. So for liver palpation, the palpation should start ideally from the right iliac fossa and proceed upwards. So, and you have to ask the patient to inspire and expire alternatively, and you have to move your hands with every expiration and observe for the organ during the inspiration.
Each breath you have to go one step upwards. Can you examine for the liver? So your hand should be perpendicular with this rib cage. Okay. Costal margin.
ചേട്ടാ ഒന്ന് ശ്വാസം വലിച്ചു വിടാം. I can get the.
So you can get a liver below the costal margin. If it is down, suppose you are getting somewhere here, that means there is a hepatomegaly. Here, just on the border, you are getting the liver.
Yes.
Once you get the liver, what all things you have to comment?
So we have to comment on the inferior border of the liver, the consistency, the surface, and
any irregularity on the liver should be mentioned properly. Any tenderness, any difference in temperature, all these things should be told during examination. Most important thing is borders, edges, and irregularity, all these things. Okay. So that is the liver examination. Spleen?
Spleen, again, spleen is an organ which is normally not palpable. It is palpable only if it is 2 to 3 times enlarged. So for palpating the spleen, as well as spleen enlarges in a diagonal way.
So 2 ways spleen can enlarge. One you told like this, from this border through the umbilicus towards this diagonal way. Very rarely spleen can enlarge this way also. But classical examination should start from the lower area. Can you just start?
So again you have to ask the patient to inspire and expire.
Each breath you have to palpate, ascend forwards through the umbilicus. That is very, very important. Through the umbilicus he is going up. Okay, if it is more than 3 times enlarged, you get a splenomegaly. Suppose you get a spleen on examination, you have to go till the end.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Left costal margin.
Suppose you get a spleen enlargement. What all things are important in clinical examination?
So we have to measure how much the spleen is enlarged to
Okay.
classify as to mild, moderate, and massive
Okay,
splenomegaly.
correct. Then,
Then we have to differentiate it from any other organ that can be
okay.
involved. So
How do you know that it is only spleen, it is not kidney?
first, spleen will enlargement of spleen is associated with inspiration,
Okay.
so it will move with
So
inspiration.
it move with the respiration, move down and up with the respiration, whereas kidney will be fixed.
Stable, yes.
Okay. And you cannot get above the swelling in the spleen. But where in kidney you can get it.
above swelling.
Okay.
And notch will be palpable.
Most of the book says there is a notch,
Yes.
but a normal MBBS student it is very difficult to get a notch.
Okay.
But if you are getting it, is very good.
Okay.
So notch, if present, if it is present, you have to tell that notch is I am getting notch. If you are not getting notch, that's also
Don't
okay.
comment. Okay.
Then your most important things are the tenderness.
Okay.
If you are getting a spleen and if it is tender, then there is an infiltration or an acute change. If it is a chronic spleen, it will not produce any tenderness. So that is most important clinical examination finding.
Okay.
Getting a spleen is very important.
Okay.
But the clinical findings like tenderness, mass, or swelling, all these things are very, very important.
Okay.
Okay. Now, can we examine the kidney?
Yes, sir. For kidney, we have to
Normally, you don't get a kidney.
Kidneys, yes.
But if kidneys are enlarged,
Yes.
how do you examine the kidney?
So it's by bimanual examination. One hand, preferably the left hand, will be
On the back.
on the back, and the right hand will be on the front in the right lumbar area.
Okay.
And we have to push with one hand
Okay.
and feel for the ballotability. in the
Ballotability is movable.
movability.
So the spleen kidney will be something like this. If I keep your hand in between your hand, so you can easily ballot it.
Ballotable,
Okay,
yes.
so that is ballotability.
Yes.
Spleen, another method, you examined spleen here, but another method you can keep your hand here and press the spleen and you can palpate. Like this.
Yes.
There is another method.
Yes.
If you are not getting the spleen, you can do even like that.
Okay.
One more organ you have to palpate in the abdomen. What is the organ? That is bladder.
Bladder. Okay.
Urinary bladder, some patients bladder will be enlarged, like somebody is having prostatomegaly, somebody is having urinary obstruction, bladder will be enlarged. So bladder examination is very important in abdomen.
Okay. Sir.
Can you examine the bladder?
To palpate in the
So you, just like any other swelling, you palpate, you will not get the lower part of the bladder. That is very important. And you have to percussion see.
yes.
Percussion dullness will be there.
Dullness.
Now we have completed inspection, palpation.
Yes, sir.
There are two more examination methods, that is percussion and auscultation.
Auscultation.
Can we do that?
Yes, sir. So percussion of abdomen, the first thing we'll be percussing is the liver dullness.
Okay, can we have liver dullness?
So before going to the liver dullness, you have to find out the second intercostal space.
Okay.
And along the mid-clavicular line, we have to percuss down.
Okay. So resonance?
Resonant.
Resonant. Resonant. Is resonant. Now it is slightly dull.
Dull,
That means liver is in the it is in the fifth or somewhere in the fifth,
Fifth
sixth.
intercostal.
Okay, fifth. So there the liver dullness is there. What I have to do now?
So we have to percuss down through the mid-clavicular.
One you have to complete the percussion.
Percussion.
That you can do. I will keep my finger here for marking. Okay.
So until here.
So I have to make a measurement. You can
Measurements.
take a measuring tape and measure it.
At the mid-clavicular line.
Okay. 18 to 33.
33.
So that is the liver span.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that may be somewhere around 15
centimeter.
15 centimeter. Okay. So liver span is like that.
Yes, sir.
One more important thing is here. What is that? Tidal percussion.
Tidal
what is tidal percussion?
Sir,
I got dullness here. Now I have to ask the patient to take a deep breath.
inspiration.
Can you do that? Neat ശ്വാസം വലിക്കണം നീട്ടിട്ട് full. Okay, now it has become resonant. Why it is? Liver is
pushed down by the
down.
expansion of the
It's called as tidal percussion.
percussion.
Suppose it is a lung pathology, it will not shift.
Yes.
Okay, so that is about percussion of the liver.
Livers.
Spleen?
Spleen percussion, there are three methods.
Okay.
One is trop space percussion.
Can you do the trop space?
So trop space, again from the second intercostal space, we have to find the 4, 5, 6th intercostal space.
Okay.
So you'll know the 6th rib.
Okay.
So the 6th rib, the costal margin and the anterior axillary line
Okay.
is the semilunar space called trop space.
Okay.
So ideally this space should have a tympanic node
Okay.
because of the fundus of the stomach.
Okay. When the spleen enlarges, this will be diminishing or you get a dull
Dull
percussion.
node.
So that is very important. Drop space percussion, tidal percussion, 2 are important for this.
Yes.
And bladder also you can percuss. Okay.
Yes.
Any other fluid, mass, everything you can percuss from the percussion finding of the abdomen.
Yes.
Okay. There are some conditions you should not percuss. When the patient is having acute inflammation, you should try to avoid percussion because that will produce severe pain. Okay. Auscultation?
Auscultation, first we have to auscultate for the bowel sounds of the patient. That is that is auscultated on the right and left side to the umbilicus.
Okay.
So normal around 5 to 30 sounds in a 1 minute period you can hear.
So for abdominal examination, bowel sounds are very important.
Yes.
But there are some more information you get from the auscultation of abdomen.
Yes.
One is epigastric, you can get an epigastric pulsation and epigastric sounds. Ejection systolic type of murmur you can get in the aorta.
Yes.
You can get ejection systolic type or bruit in the renal area.
Artery.
Okay. And splenic rupts you can get.
Venous hum
you can get. So many other things can also make out from your auscultation. But most important here is bowel sounds. Okay. That is important. Anything else we have to do?
Then we have to also examine the genitourinary tract.
For completion's sake, we have to examine the genitourinary tract and lower part, any lymph nodes, swelling in the testes, scrotum, penis, everything should be examined. Other system examination is very important. Why it is important?
Because any GI pathology can also have a relation to, for example, right-sided pleural effusion.
So right-sided pleural effusion can be there. Then
hepatic encephalopathy in a case of CL.
Flapping tremors can be there. Then heart pericardial effusion can be there. Most important thing is don't forget to examine his lymph nodes in the cervical area, left supraclavicular. What is that sign called as?
Trozier signs.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.